Now, there is a factory or a producer where the goods are produced, or a service provider. Okay. And the other party is the final user, those who will be using those goods. Now here, usually the place has two parts here. One thing is the location. Uh, we generally know that place is related to the location, isn't it? We say, I stay at that place, or this building is at that place. That is what is the place. Now in marketing, this place means the intermediary between the manufacturer and the consumer. In between both these parties, there is a this intermediary who builds the gap in between both these parties, who perform a variety of functions. They are also known as the marketing channel. They are also called as the trade channel. They are also known as distribution channel. You might have heard the name like distributor, dealer, retailer. Okay, whatever is the title, they act as an intermediary in between the producer or the manufacturer and the consumer, in between both these parties. Now here, when I say it's a marketing channels, what do you mean by this marketing channel? Now, marketing channels, they are the set of interdependent organizations involved in the process of making a good or a service available to the customers for their usage. Very simple term here. Now, there are intermediaries like wholesalers, retailers who buy, take the title and resell it to merchandise. They are called as the merchants. There are retailers who buy, take the title and again they resell to the customers. They are the retailers. Now here, there are also the agents who are manufacturers' representatives who search for the customers. They negotiate on the producers or the manufacturer's behalf, but do not take the title to the goods. Now, these are the agents. There are transportation companies, there are independent warehouses, there are advertising agencies. All this assist and become or form a part of the marketing channel. Now, it's said that marketing channel decisions, they are the most critical decisions which is faced by the management. That is how to reach to the end consumer or the customers. Now, let's see what are the roles of the marketing channel. What all does it do? Now, the first and foremost task is information gathering. These intermediaries gather the information regarding the need of the customers, what the customers want. See, suppose there is a retailer, you go and purchase a particular offering or a product. You give the feedback, whatever it is, positive or negative. कि भाई ये बहुत अच्छा था, it was good. That is a positive feedback. Or maybe this was lacking in the product. Please don't give me next time. So here, since the retailer is in day-to-day contact with the customer, easily he has access to this customers or consumers and get the feedback from them about the product. Maybe price, about the pricing. कि price थोड़ा high है, थोड़ा low है, or the quality of the product. Sometimes the ideas. So here they get the feedback from the customers and pass it on to the representative of the company through these company persons, it reaches the company, the information. That's why we say they gather the information on the behalf of the organization or the company. They also come to know about the competitors here. Suppose a retailer is selling 2 or 3 products which are competing against each other. So here he has that information also. He also gives information about other marketing environmental attributes. So in this way, he acts as a information collecting or information gathering center. On the behalf of the company, he collects it. The next is the product promotion. Now here, since he's in direct, you might have observed this, that maybe you visit a retailer near your residence, you go and you ask for something. He may just push a product by saying that ये नया आया है, this is new in the market, please try this. अच्छा नहीं लगा तो वापस दे दीजिए. Okay. So here he pushes the product. Suppose if the price of the product is high, okay, आप बोलोगे क्या कि बहुत ही बड़ा है, इसका ज्यादा है price. So he will just say no, just check the quality. Go for the quality check and give me the feedback. Suppose your expectations meet with the offering, then you will come and give him the feedback and again repurchase it. Similarly, this penetrates and results into word of mouth publicity. So here, this intermediary, the channel member, is promoting the product in the market. That's why he is in the forefront. This intermediary is in the forefront where he's coming in direct contact with the customers every now and then. Daily the customers, one or the other day, the customer comes and he purchases and they have a relationship or an acquaintance. So it becomes easy for this retailer to push the product, specifically when the product is new or there is an introduction of the flanker product. Now here this is possible during the maybe introduction stage, maybe during the maturity stage if the company decides to come up with the flanker products. So these intermediaries play a very important role in pushing the products ahead. Arranging for contacts. Now here these intermediaries also help the companies. Now suppose if you take a distributor or a dealer, okay, he has a retailer or the agents. They know the retailers, they know the agents, these distributors who buy in bulk, okay. They can disseminate these goods to other retailers. They have the know-how of the people, the firms, the goodwill, their goodwill. Which retailer is financially sound, which is not, who has earned a goodwill, who is more reliable. So this intermediary channel also help the companies in arranging contacts, which results in again pushing the product and penetrating the product in the market. So here in finding out the contacts, in the arrangement of channel of marketing, these intermediaries, they do help the companies. So here they develop and communicate about the existing as well as new contacts in the market. Now coming to the negotiation of prices, here they reach agreement on price and other terms so that the transfer of ownership and possession can be offered to them. They place the orders with the manufacturers. They also look after the finance part. So here, if there is a distributor who negotiates the prices with the retailer, so he becomes the negotiator on the part of the company here. Then comes the part of physical distribution. Here this dealer also takes into account or adheres to the responsibility of physical distribution of the goods. He manages the retail chain many a times. He decides who are the retailers, how the offering or the product should reach to these retailers. So on the behalf of the company, he takes into consideration the risks connected with carrying out his work. So the risk is associated, the movement of physical goods. He has to store the bulks. He goes for the assortment of the goods. Because while purchasing, he purchases in a bulk quantity. Now he has to assort them and offer it to the retailers. He looks after the payments, the credits. He provides credit to the retailers. So here, as he adheres the responsibility on the behalf of the company, he has the ownership. So apart from this, he takes care of the goods, the financing, the risk taking also. So this is what is the role of the intermediaries. So here warehousing, all the activities of this physical distribution from the dealer to the retailer to the customer is taken care by this intermediary. Now, some functions like the physical, the title or the promotion, they constitute the forward activity, forward flow of processes are linked to it from the company to the customers. Now, the functions like ordering, payments, they constitute a backward flow that is from the customers to the company. The information, the negotiation, the finance, the risk-taking abilities, both these occur in between in both the directions, from the company to the intermediaries to the customer and from the customer to the company. So this is about what do you mean by the place and the role of the marketing channel members. Now here, it is the responsibility of the intermediaries also to allocate the resources, use the resources meticulously. We go to the next part. That is channel levels. So here it is with reference to customer marketing. Now here, the first one, if you see, it's from the manufacturer to the consumer, where the producer and the final customers, they are the part of every channel. The first level where they have the direct marketing channel, it is also called as, or it is known as the zero level channel, which does not consist of any intermediary. It's from the manufacturer to the consumer. If you take an example of the company like Dell, okay, which initiated this channel of distribution, zero level channel, selling directly from the manufacturer to the final customers. Here, the examples of door-to-door selling or telemarketing, we can think as a direct channel. Now, if you see many of the companies which directly, if you watch the ads on the television, just an Naptol hai, somebody had given the example, this example in the previous session. Okay, what are they doing? That is the directly from the manufacturer's end to the customer. The company like Avion, which sells the, it's a cosmetic company which has the door-to-door marketing. Tupperware, which sells the kitchen goods through the home parties. It comes into this. So this is about the zero level channel or direct marketing channel. Now here it's one-to-one marketing, close level, monitoring or at the close level. Now here, how the company convinces the customer. Okay. How many of you have purchased through direct marketing? Whether anybody of you have purchased through this direct marketing? No one of you?
No, ma'am.
What might be the reason? देखे तो है प्रोडक्ट्स,
Yes, ma'am.
कुछ तो लगा होगा कभी तो लेने जैसा. Because if you see some of the channels, okay, during the free hours, you find that the ads are going on, isn't it?
नापतुल.
नापतोल है या फिर संजीव कपूर के है कुछ तो यूटेंसिल्स है या so here when you take into consideration, see here when you are advertising on the television, okay, basically everybody becomes the customer, consumers, not customers but consumers, है ना. If you consider with reference to this the other direct selling channels like Avon or Tupperware, okay, here there is individual stress given, individual marketing, and that's why we find these success stories of these companies. The next is the one level channel, which contains one selling intermediary, maybe such as a retailer only, or a dealer, or a distributor in between the manufacturer and the applicable. Any idea? Dealer, retailer, only one is there in between the manufacturer and the customer. In which scenario this is possible? For which goods this is possible? Any idea? I'm just brainstorming. Maybe some specialized goods, isn't it? You can take an example of the medical equipments. Okay, there might be agent, a single agent who imports the medical equipments and distributes to the consumers. Maybe you can say into the niche segment. Very few customers require a specialized product. Then only you may have this. Or a very higher end product, very expensive higher end. Then only we can think of having a single chain. That is one level channel. The next is a two level channel, which contains two intermediaries. Specifically, we see this in the consumer markets, where you have a wholesaler and a retailer. Now, all the convenience goods or the fast moving consumer goods, FMCG goods, usually go for this type of chain. That is the from manufacturers to the wholesaler, then retailer, and then the consumer. Now, a third level channel contains three intermediaries. The wholesalers sell it to the jobbers who sell to the small retailers. Now, more than this, also longer chains can be found. Specifically, if you take into consideration the international marketing, it is more possible there. Now, as the chain increases, okay, as the chain increases, more is the possibility of difficulty in this channel levels. Or we can say further, we are going to see a point like channel conflicts. They do arise many a times wherever the chain is longer. Shorter the chain, more easy it becomes. There are no complications. And it is easier for the companies also to just concentrate and deal with a few intermediaries, one or two intermediaries. Now, this is for the consumer marketing. If we consider the industrial goods, now an industrial goods manufacturer uses its sales force to sell directly to industrial customers, very specialized equipments or goods. Okay. Or it can sell through the industrial distributors who sell it to the industrial customers. Now, as compared to the consumer marketing channels, here you will find that the reach is narrow as the customers are limited. No doubt they purchase in the bulk quantity. Again, it depends upon the type of the product which the company is selling. It can also sell it through the manufacturer's representatives or its own sales branches. Many a times the companies, manufacturers, they have their own sales branches. From there, these industrial customers, they purchase the goods. So here one can think of having a 0 level, 1 level, or at the most 2 level marketing channels depending upon the type of product which the company is selling. Now here the concept of marketing channel is not only limited to the distribution of physical goods, but to the producers of the services also. If you consider the educational institutions, if you consider the chain of hospitals, okay, there also the company takes into consideration this level of channels. And it's more challenging as far as the services industry is considered as compared to the goods. Now, as the internet is penetrating, as people are adapting to this new technology, in the service industries such as banking, insurance, travels, stock buying, selling, okay. For all these companies, it has become much more convenient, both the customers as well as the companies, to make the optimum usage of this technology. Now coming to the next part, that is the channel design decisions. One of the very important decisions which the company has to consider before finalizing the channel. Now basically when the firm is new, it starts with the local operations, selling to a limited local area. It usually seeks the intermediaries, those who are local, within the limits of that particular local market, local area. Once the company is established, okay, then it thinks of expanding the market, going beyond the local boundaries. Then selecting the best channel is taken into consideration here at this stage. if the company has gained its success, it can think of entering into new markets. But the question is, which type of intermediary it should include? What are the available intermediaries in these different markets? If the market is small, maybe directly through the retailers, they can penetrate into the market. In the larger markets, it might sell through distribution, that is through distributors. If it's a rural areas, it might think with the general goods merchants. If it is an urban area, with the limited line of merchants. It might think of having the exclusive franchisee also in a particular country or in particular region. While in the other, it may sell through all the outlets willing to handle the merchandise of that product. If it is entering into international market, the company can think of having sales agents. It might partner with the local firms by entering into a joint venture. Now here, the company has to explore the opportunities. The company has to think about the options available. Now this designing a channel system, it needs to take into consideration the customer needs. Establishing the objectives of the company, identifying and evaluating the major channel alternatives here. Now, if we consider the first point, that is analyzing customers' desired service output levels, which is the first point here, wherein the company thinks from the customer's point, from the customer's perception. Now, here the company takes into consideration the understanding of service output levels desired by the target consumers. Now, here we can divide this into 5 points, like what is the lot size? What do you mean by lot size here? The number of units the channel permits a typical customer to purchase at a particular time, at a particular occasion. Now, this again depends upon the good, type of good, whether it's a convenience good, whether it is an emergency good like medicine, whether it is a can wait need, whether it is a durable product, whether it is a fashion, related to style, related to luxurious or prestige good. If it's a higher end item, we cannot think of more lot size, maybe single item. If you consider electronic goods, the automobiles, okay. Against this, if you consider a convenience good like a soap, a shampoo, okay, the lot size may increase. Next important criteria is the waiting time. What would be the average waiting time the customer desires? Now, as I said that if it is a automobile, okay, if the customer desires a particular two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, okay, obviously, what would be the waiting time? Whether the customer is ready to wait or no. Normally, the companies think or prefer with the faster delivery channels, but they have to take into consideration this waiting time, the delivery time, okay, from the manufacturer to the customers. Next point is the spatial convenience. Now here, the degree to which the marketing channels make it easy for the customers to purchase the product. That is the convenience. Many of you, if you have visited the two-wheeler showrooms, you will find a person, okay, who is from the finance. Many of them, they would like to go for the finance. Okay, they want to purchase it on a EMI, the two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. So instead of you going to the bank, you approaching the bank, already there somebody is waiting. That is the special convenience. Maybe the dealer thinks that the customer, once he is in, he should not go empty-handed. He should get whatever is required. So this can be one example of the special convenience, where the intermediary makes the customer comfortable while purchasing the product or a service. The next is product variety. Now the assortment breadth provided by marketing channel. Now usually the customers prefer the more assortment or a greater level of assortment of the product, as it gives or increases the choice or the chance to find out what they need. So more the assorted goods are there, more they would have the choice to select. So the customers would look for the variety. The service backup, very important point. In many of the product or the services, the add-on services like the credit given, the delivery, the installation, the repairs provided by these intermediaries, they play a major role. So the marketing channel designer knows that providing greater service output means increased channel costs and higher prices for the customers. So here the success of discount stores, which indicates that many consumers are willing to accept low service outputs if they can save money. So the company needs to think what exactly the customer desires and then take a decision about the channel design. The next point is establishing objectives and constraints. Now here, the objectives, it has to be termed or stated in terms of the targeted service output level. They should arrange for their functional tasks to minimize total channel cost with reference to the desired level of service output. Now, effective planning should be there here, which determines that which market segments to serve and which channel to be used. Now, these channel objectives, they differ with reference to product characteristics, like whether the good is a perishable. Those goods which are perishable, they require direct marketing. Bulky products or durable products, they require channels that require minimum of the shipping distance, because otherwise it would increase the cost of transportation and the amount of handling also increases. The risk increases here in the moment from the producer to the consumer. Now, in terms of non-standardized products, where you have the customization, that is according to the need of the customer, some of the products are designed. Directly they are sold by the company sales representatives. Wherever the product requires installation or maintenance services, they are maintained by the company through the exclusive contracts. The dealer or the franchisor takes care of the service part. Now the channel design must take into account the strengths and weaknesses of these type of intermediaries. What if we have a dealer? If we have a retailers? So here the trade-off between these different options should be taken into account. The channel design must adapt to a larger environment. They should be easily modified with the change in the conditions. Now, for example, when economic conditions are depressed, the manufacturer wants to push their goods in the market using the shorter channels. Now, the legal regulations or the restrictions, they also affect the channel design many a times. So all the things, these constraints should be kept, or this should be taken into account while designing the intermediary channels. The next is identifying major channel alternatives. Once the company has thought of the target market or the segments, okay, the positioning of the offering, it should identify what are the channel alternatives available. It should identify the different types of channel alternatives. Now, these channel alternatives are analyzed by three important elements: the types of available business intermediaries or the type of intermediaries available, the number of intermediaries needed, and the terms and responsibilities of each channel members. These three are the points here which has to be taken into consideration while identifying the major channel alternatives. Now, if you have a look at the first, that is the type of intermediaries. Now, the firm needs to identify the types of intermediaries available to carry its channel work. So here again, it depends upon the type of the product. If it is a industrial goods, then again, you have a different type of intermediaries. Like you have the industrial distributors, you have the manufacturers agencies. If it is a consumer electronics, then you have the OEM market, that is the original equipment manufacturers market. Or you may have a dealer with reference to that particular offering. You may have a retail equipment dealer. You may have the specialist dealer who is just into that market. Or you can have the product selling through the mail order catalogs. Many a times, through the mail, the catalogs are sent to the customers. The customer just selects it and the offering is at the doorstep of the customer. So the companies are always in search for innovative marketing channels, new marketing channels. Now, if you see today, because of the pandemic, for many of them, it's the need of the hour to shift to the internet, to use internet, or maybe take the help of e-commerce intermediary. What is the e-commerce intermediary? Like Amazon, Flipkart, all these intermediaries, those who sell the goods through e-commerce. So since today it's a question of survival, okay, for some of the manufacturers, they do have their tie-ups with these e-commerce intermediaries to sell their goods or to push their goods in the market. Sometimes the company also uses the unconventional channels. maybe because of difficulty or maybe because of the cost of working. Now, when the company thinks of having innovative ideas, there is less competition. Now, Avion, for example, it chose door-to-door selling because it was not able to break the regular departmental stores. They could not sell through this. And that's why they opted for door-to-door and were more successful. Similarly, if you see, if you take the example of the first cry, which are into the toys, okay, and baby products, okay. Initially, they started with the online store, but somehow they also adapted the physical store layout means also. So today we have both the brick and the click model also here. Now the next point is number of intermediaries. So the companies have to decide how many intermediaries it will have in between the company and the end customer. Now here, there are three strategies available for the companies: exclusive distribution, selective distribution, and intensive distribution. Now the first one is the exclusive distribution. Exclusive distribution, which means the control or limiting the number of intermediaries, controlling these intermediaries. Now this is used when the manufacturer or the producer, it wants to control the service level and the services output offered by the resellers. It involves exclusive dealing arrangements. Here the exclusivity rights are given to these intermediaries where they do not agree to carry any competing brands, competitive brands. Here the company offers exclusive distribution rights to these intermediaries. Now here the basic objective is to get the dedicated and more concentrated effort from these intermediaries to gain the trustworthiness of these intermediaries. They look for the partnerships between the seller and the reseller. Now, if you see most of them, the examples of this exclusivity are like apparel brands, the automobile showrooms, the footwear outlets, which have this exclusivity, or even the electronic goods distributors. Next is the selective distribution, which involves the use of more than a few but less than all of the intermediaries who are willing to carry out a particular product. Now, this is specifically undertaken by the established companies and by new companies seeking the distributors. Here, the company does not have to take into consideration more of the distribution with reference to its efforts. Over more outlets, it does not want to take into consideration more of the penetration. It wants the adequate coverage with the adequate control and less cost as compared to the intensive distribution. Here we can take an example of an Nike, the world's largest athletic shoe manufacturer. Okay, they go for this selective distribution. Now here, those customers who are attracted towards that particular brand or towards that particular outlet, they will only enter the showroom. So here one thing is fixed for these companies, that the customers who are entering, they are aware about the company, they are aware about the goods. So this saves on the promotional aspects. Next one is the intensive distribution. The basic objective of intensive distribution is reaching out to more customers, having more outlets, reaching to masses, as much as possible moving out to the customers. It is used in all the type of convenience goods, the snack foods items, the products which we use on day-to-day basis. Now, most of the manufacturers, they would like to shift from exclusive or selective to intensive. In fact, the problem is with the increase in the cost here. Also, all of them are needed to shift. If it is into a specialized category, there is no need to go for the intensive distribution. If the product is a specialized product, or if it is into a luxury goods or into electronics category, then the company can think of having the exclusive or selective distribution channel. So this is about the number of intermediaries. So suppose when the question of deciding once the channel is there, okay, many a times the students ask me a question wherever there is a question specifically with reference to your concurrent evaluations or assignments, that create the channel design decision, okay, for any type of the goods. Suppose if the product is milk or milk products, what should be the type of intermediaries or the number of intermediaries? If it is automobile, what it should be? So here the objectives, the constraints, and the features or characteristics of that product category, they all differ. Okay, so it is an individual, from the individual perspective, you should think about these points while taking into consideration that product. That is what is expected here. The next point is terms and responsibilities of channel members. The manufacturer or the company should determine what are the responsibilities, the terms of the channel members who are participating in the channel. They have to treat these intermediaries, they have to be treated respectfully. They should be given opportunities to turn into a sizable and profitable business. The company should have good relationships with these intermediaries. With respect to pricing policies, okay, they should have the appropriate price list. If the discounts are given to these intermediaries, it should be properly stated. Whatever are the allowances, they should be equitable and sufficient. The information should be provided to these intermediaries. So there should be a mutual trust and faith basically here. As far as the conditions of sale is considered, it refers to the credit terms or the payment terms, the credit facility given to these intermediaries, the guarantees, the producer's guarantee. What are the norms as far as the credit facilities is considered? So this is about the condition of the sale. Now the distributor's territorial rights. This is very important, and most of the time is a point where there is a channel conflict is considered. Their terms, their demarcation has to be allocated to them very properly. Now distributors, normally they expect that the company should give them the opportunity and full credit for the sales in that particular territory. There should not be any conflict as far as the demarcation of the territories is considered. Also, the mutual services and responsibilities should be spelled out clearly in the agreement. Specifically when your company is going for the franchisee outlets or exclusivity of rights given to this channel members. If you take an example of the company like McDonald's, it provides the franchisees with the building, promotional support, all the POP material, a record keeping system, giving the training to the employees, administration of the staff, technical assistance, everything is taken care by the company here. So here the company should also give a helping hand to this intermediaries. So this evaluating the major alternatives, we will discuss this in the next session. Any doubts up till here? Whether you have understood this part? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today, because I would not be able to finish the next point. Okay, so in the next session, we will discuss this.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.